Just trying to get my stream back here. Not sure what's up with my connection. Waiting for the last preliminary fight between Gabriel Bonfim and Trevin Giles. Bonfim is the younger fighter at 25. Got a 1-inch height advantage, but a 1.5-inch shorter reach. Trevin Giles is from the USA. He is the underdog right now. Bonfim is the favored fighter. But this will be interesting. It'll be interesting because Giles has a lot of experience. He's been fighting out of the UFC since 2017, and he's fought some big names. Dricus du Plessis, fought Kevin Spann out of the UFC and got a split decision. Fought Gerald Meerschaert. He's got 4 losses, but the losses are to really good competition, so this should be a nice test for Bonfim. He's a big favorite, 340 favorite. And the size is about the same, except for Giles has a little bit of a reach advantage at welterweight. 1.5 inches. We'll see if that has any part to play here. Herb Dean officiating. Round 1, ready to go. Got the ring card girl. Both fighters waiting for instructions. Giles got a long beard, and right out of the gate, Bonfim is pressuring. Blocks a leg kick from Giles. Giles, a couple of strikes on both. They're starting fast. Bonfim is really putting in pressure. He's feinting with that lead leg. Now he's swarming, throwing wild blows. Giles is just trying to, now they're engaged. Giles is up against the cage. Bonfim's pressuring, reversal. Bonfim's back to the cage. Bonfim's got the underhooks. Now he's behind Giles and he slams him to the mat. I don't want to make it seem like he slammed him really hard, but he just kind of picked him up and sat him down. Now he's taking his time. I think this is really where Bonfim wants to be. His last win was a submission, I believe. Alright, Giles trying to he's got his neck. He's got him in a guillotine and he's squeezing as hard as he can. Giles is fighting it. There's the tap. Wow, first round victory for Bonfim. Couldn't be more excited. Really wrenched down hard on Giles' neck. Giles was trying to get up and he just stuck his neck in there, and that's all it took. He wrapped it up, he pulled guard, leaned back, and he looks like a very, very strong guy. Very low body fat, a lot of upper body strength. Seemed very excited to go to the ground. Giles was kind of lackadaisical about it. Looked like he could have got away, could have escaped. Now they're talking. They seem Bonfim is being very kind of caressing his face, and we can see that body lock when he got behind him. Just kind of picked him up off his feet and set him down, and then slid up on top of him. Giles was actually up to his feet, and his neck was just totally exposed, and Bonfim just grabbed a hold of it, wrapped the legs around, dropped down all his weight, and that was it, guys. Very quick fight. I can see why he was favored. I don't recall seeing either of these guys before, but he showed up, and as the top of the prelim card too, that's gonna raise up his stock. Giles has had a nice run in the UFC, but I that's probably not going to be good for him. We're going right into our pay-per-view fight up next, and this card is stacked. We're starting out with Michael Chiesa. Then we got Kevin Holland, or Michael Chiesa versus Kevin Holland. Then we got Tony Ferguson versus Bobby Green. That's going to be a fun one. Followed by the heavyweights, Derek Lewis and Marcos Rogerio de Lima. That should be fun. Then Jan Blachowicz versus Alex Pereira. Pereira's fights are always fun. And then Dustin Poirier versus Gaethje. Sometimes when you have a card like this, you expect all kinds of fireworks because everybody in this has devastating attacks. And it doesn't always work out that way, but it's definitely stacked that way. You can't do much more than put guys like this in the cage and just hope to see fireworks. You never know what Derek Lewis is going to show up. You never know what Tony Ferguson is going to show up, or Kevin Holland. But Poirier and Gaethje seem to always show up. They're announcing the winner now. And we're going to go to the pay-per-view here pretty soon. We got about 19 minutes until the pay-per-view starts. Got technically 2 titles on the line tonight. The BMF main event at lightweight, and then the co-main light heavyweight title between Jan Blachowicz and Alex Pereira. Rogan's in there interviewing Gabriel. Okay, we're back. Hopefully it's something we can get fixed in the future. They're going to kill a lot of time here in this next almost 20 minutes before the main show, but hopefully we get the fight, the Chiesa Holland fight is ready to go right at 10. There was a couple of fights that were scheduled that would have been great too. Stephen Thompson versus Michael Pereira. That one would have been, I think, a lot of fun. 2 strikers, obviously guys with highlight reel type of attacks. Then we had Paulo Costa versus Ikram Aliskerov. Both guys, nice records, 14-2, 14-1, but that got canceled. But the card that we have is nice. The Michael Chiesa, Kevin Holland, I'm guessing Chiesa's going to try to get him to the ground and utilize his grappling and his jiu-jitsu to tap him out. That's what most people have done against Kevin Holland, and there's no real reason to strike with him, but you never know. And then Tony Ferguson versus Bobby Green. The Bobby Green fights that I've seen, he comes to strike. He's not a guy that really looks to go to the ground, so hopefully Tony Ferguson is doing some Wing Chun tonight, and we get to see that. Hopefully Derek Lewis is looking for another knockout. He is the self-proclaimed knockout king. I think he's tied for the most knockouts in the UFC, but I can't say for sure. Actually, it's Tyson. I thought this is one of the early days of the UFC they were showing, but looks like they're showing some type of promo for maybe a documentary. It says it's narrated by Mike Tyson. Obviously, anyone from my generation can't get enough of Mike Tyson. This guy has been lightning electric since he hit the stage. Love him or hate him, he's always a guy. Now they're showing the BMF title. I don't know how you guys feel about the BMF title. The Rock presented it last time. Maybe this must be the promo narrated by Tyson. Maybe he's presenting it this time. I honestly don't know. But I don't know how you feel about the BMF title. It's not something I'm super excited about it. I mean, it sounds cool until you kind of put it into practice, and then it sounds like something that you talk about. MF, just the toughest guy. Well, if there's just the toughest guy, don't we already have a belt for that? I don't know. Maybe it's guys that stand and with John Anik and showing the promo. So we're trying to kill time until the 10 o'clock start. Showing the first fight with Conor. Man, how things have changed. Yeah, so I don't know. I'm a fan of just the title being the title, but if it makes it a little bit more fun and gets a little bit more attention and maybe get some more casuals involved too, man, that's a young Poirier they're showing outside the UFC there. Whatever. I like it, I guess. I just don't put a ton of stock into it. And Poirier has really gotten big over the years. Like, naturally, looks like he's just kind of filled out and gotten thicker all over. Definitely more tattoos, more hair, darker. Almost looks like a different guy. Now they're showing the Diaz Masvidal fight. That was 4 years ago. Wow. Head kick. Yeah, Nate really got busted up quick in that fight. That was kind of disappointing. And Masvidal, what a run he was on. I mean, this was kind of the perfect title. It was probably the only title Masvidal was ever going to get in the UFC. Now they're showing Poirier Gaethje won. And, man, Gaethje, that dude, I hope he's got some chin left for this fight. And I think he does. I mean, he really, even when he was out, he was still trying. It's hard not to like these guys. And I really don't know what's going to happen in this fight. Gaethje, when he's on, I think we can all agree that either one of these guys can win. Especially on their best day. One mistake, one way or the other. They both have knockout power. Poirier, in the two Conor fights, he definitely showed that he is a world-class striker. Conor had his moments too, but he seems like he's passed up Conor in the rematch. It's not like he was doing terrible or something, or Conor was gonna win. It was inevitable. Honestly, it wasn't a leg break, but that weird thing that O'Malley had and that weird thing that Michael Chandler had. It was the win against Michael Chandler, oddly enough, as I was saying that, Poirier. But, they came back. But it wasn't like a break. It was more just like whatever that is, where the nerve. And there's Poirier beating up a bunch of people, beating up the guy that Conor beat to be the two-time champ, Eddie Alvarez. Yeah, Poirier's got a list of who's who. He's 29-7, and this guy, he has fought a lot of folks. Let's run down while we got time. Let's take a look at Dustin Poirier's record. He's tied for the most knockouts in lightweight history with Drew Dober, which I did not expect Drew Dober to be tied there, but kudos to him, and I believe he's still fighting. So he's got a win against Michael Chandler. He lost to Charles Oliveira. He beat Conor twice, beat Dan Hooker, lost to Khabib, which everybody did, beat Max Holloway, beat Eddie Alvarez, beat Justin Gaethje, beat Anthony Pettis. No contest with Eddie Alvarez because of those knees. Beat Jim Miller. Lost to Michael Johnson. Wow. That was 8 years ago, but I mean, crazy to think that he lost to Michael Johnson. Not that Michael Johnson is bad or anything, but just I can't see Michael Johnson having any chance against any decent chance. Everyone has a chance, especially a professional fighter, but any decent chance against Dustin today. And then before that, he beat Bobby Green, Joseph Duffy, Yancy Medeiros, Carlos Ferreira, and then he lost to Connor. That was like kind of when they were both, coming up. So I mean, he a couple of stumbles here and there, and losses to top tier guys, but in his last 20 fights, just an amazing. Keep losing my stream here. So, kudos to Charles Oliveira. He beat Gaethje too, and then he lost to Khabib, beat Michael Chandler, beat Tony Ferguson, beat Donald Cerrone, beat Edson Barbosa, beat James Vick, lost to Dustin, lost to Eddie Alvarez. I mean, they fought all the same guys. Beat Michael Johnson. His first loss was to Eddie Alvarez. Second loss was Dustin. So, I mean, the 4 guys that he's lost to, pretty amazing fighters. Obviously, could be even Oliveira, Dustin Poirier, and then Eddie Alvarez. Now they're showing the broadcast team here. We got Chael Sonnen, I'm not sure who the guy on the left is, and then Anthony Smith. Chael is looking good. Sometimes Chael makes me nervous. He doesn't look that healthy. Kind of sometimes looks pale and just kind of hyped up, but he looks good tonight. Anthony Smith looks good tonight. All the broadcasters are looking sharp. None of them have ties on, just kind of laid back, talking about Tony Ferguson versus Bobby Green. And Bobby Green is a huge favorite, more than what I was suspecting. That's crazy. But I mean, hey, who am I to argue? Just thinking about where Tony was in the past, and for him to come in at that big of an underdog. Now they're showing Blachowicz and Pereira. They're at guys that he's fought in the past are but hey, what do I know? I think Bobby Green is probably a step down in competition, but Tony's getting older. He's taking a lot of beating, or a lot of punishment. Bobby Green's no spring chicken. I mean, he's 36. He's been unsuccessful in his last 3 fights. He had a no contest with Jared Gordon. I guess you can't count that one, but he lost to Drew Dober, who's apparently the knockout king. He lost to Makhachev. He beat a couple of guys. Quinta, I haven't heard that name in a long time. Lost to Fizia, lost to Thiago Moises, beat Alan Patrick, beat Lando Venata, another guy I haven't heard of in a while. Clay Guida. He lost to Drakkar Klose, Francisco Trinaldo. I think I'm going to put some money on Tony. Just because, man, I mean, Tony's Tony, and he's just getting older. He's taking a lot of punishment, but the guy is he's still Tony. I mean, he can still, I don't understand why he's that big of a dog. So I'm going to take a look at it and see if I can put some money on Tony, just for old time's sake, just for the fun of it. And I don't think it's too crazy, unless there's something that I don't know about, which is quite possible. Maybe Tony had some injuries. Maybe he's been, off the reservation, so to speak, mentally. We know, he's a different kind of guy, and some people like that and some people don't. I gotta admit, early in his career, I wasn't a huge fan because of that. Kind of, I don't know. I just thought he was really rude to people on the Ultimate Fighter. I think he was talking bad about the one guy. not seeing his kid or something like that. I don't know. I mean, I don't really know these fighters, and it's just so hard to, just come to a conclusion about somebody that you watch on TV. But, that just seemed like a really, really low blow. And I don't see, let's see, here we go. Alright, now I gotta switch back to the pay-per-view. Alright, where are we at? Main card. I hope this doesn't charge me again, because I already bought it. Hopefully I don't get charged twice. It doesn't look like it. It's not asking me for anything. There's Blachowicz knocking out Pretty Boy. What's his name? Can't remember his name. And showing Gaethje and Poirier. Man, what a fight. What is that guy's name? DC's buddy. I don't know, his name escapes me. I'll go back to trying to find the old Tony Ferguson fight. See if I can put some money on Tony to win this before the fight starts, obviously. And it's about 10 right now, so I'm guessing they're going to be ready, but maybe they want to delay it a little bit more in case we get some fast finishes. Yeah, Bobby Green is minus 375 and Tony's plus 300, so I'm just going to take Tony. I'm going to put a little bit of money, not a huge amount, put $10 on her, just to make it interesting. Showing the BMF title. Okay, looks like Poirier's a favorite now, and Gaethje's a dog, which makes sense. I mean, Poirier won. I had to charge my phone there. I figured since the fight hasn't started, I don't have any viewers, I can do that. Tonight's more about practice than anything, so hopefully I can build this channel, start to monetize it a little bit. I love watching the UFC, and there really isn't anyone that calls the fights that I have found. They talk about crazy stuff. You really can't follow what they're saying. Maybe no one cares the way that I do, but I would like to essentially provide content that I would enjoy myself. And that's what I'm going to do. And if nobody likes it, that's okay. That's kind of life for you. And that's how you find out. You got to try new things. But the worst that happens is that nobody watches. At least I have fun watching the fights myself. And I'll know. I won't have that question in my mind anymore. I think sometimes we wonder, what if we had done a stream? What if they're showing a underdog parlay? Michael Chiesa's an underdog too. Like I said, I think Kevin Holland's kind of been on a skid lately, so it's surprising to me that Chiesa is the underdog. But that would be an interesting parlay. I mean, that would be, if you hit that. I'm not a parlay guy. Oh no, it looks like Kevin Holland beat Santiago Ponzinibbio, so that is a nice win for him. And then he lost before that. He lost to Stephen Thompson and Hamzat Shemaev. He beat Tim Means, beat Alex Oliveira. Wow. No contest with Kyle Dawkins. Lost to Marvin Montori and lost to Derek Brunson. So I forgot about those wins that he snuck in there with Tim Means and Alex Oliveira. And I must have missed the Santiago Ponzinibbio fight. So good on Kevin Holland. Let's take a look at Michael Chiesa's record here recently. I remember when he was just such a tank, and no one really wanted to fight him. It seemed like, anyway, if my memory serves me correctly. He's lost a couple. He lost one to Sean Brady, a decision. And then he got choked out by Vincent Luque, which is nothing to, be so too down about. But he beat Neil Magny, which is, Neil Magny is a good fighter. He beat Rafael Dos Anjos, is a good fighter. Beat Diego Sanchez. We know what's going on with Diego Sanchez and who he was training with and all that kind of stuff. And then he beat Carlos Condit, which is a hell of a fight. He lost to Anthony Pettis and Kevin Lee, but beat Beneil Dariush, which is a good fighter. I'm surprised that he's an underdog here. But, as they say, it's not up to me. And, Kevin Holland, I like Kevin Holland too. I feel like if Chiesa takes down Kevin Holland, definitely favors Chiesa. And we'll see what Kevin Holland has done to improve his takedown defense, because in the past, that's kind of been his Achilles heel. He's a fun striker, a heck of a striker. But, this is the UFC, and guys can do, you need to be able to do it everywhere. There's not too many guys. I mean, I guess Conor, to a certain extent, has been able to make a career with kind of suspect ground defense. But, even he has gotten exposed at certain levels. A lot of decisions from Chiesa. He did have a submission against Carlos Condit, submitted Beneil Dariush, submitted Jim Miller. I don't remember him fighting Jorge Masvidal, sorry. I don't remember that fight at all. Looks like it was about 10 years ago. Maybe that's why. But yeah, if I remember correctly, he's good on the ground. I'm gonna take a look at Kevin Holland again. He's 24-9. I like Kevin Holland. He's fun, man. He talks a lot during his fights. They're starting to announce the fighters. We'll probably get the tail of the tape here pretty soon. Man, it looks packed out there. Megan Megan Levy is out there. Uh, Back to Kevin Holland's record. He knocked out Ponzinibbio. He had a submission against Tim Means. Knocked out Alex Oliveira. Knocked out Souza. Submitted Charlie Ontiveros, but that was a slam, a TKO. The rest are TKO. So he's gotten submitted a couple of times. So Hamzat submitted him pretty quickly in round one. Thompson's the only one that has knocked him out. Got submitted by Brendan Allen. Lost some decisions. Got submitted real early on in his career in legacy fighting. He's a contender guy. He's making his way to the ring. Looks lean and good as always. Both these guys have big frames. It's going to be interesting to see them, in the ring together and see them see their stature. One of 3 knockouts by punches from bottom position in UFC history. Yeah, I mean he's a long, lanky striker. Fun guy. Talks a lot of crap. Seems kind of like a natural. I'm curious. Oh, say hi to my son here. Hopefully he's got the first comment of many over the years. I'd like to stick with this. As I said, I really enjoy watching the fights. And I'm learning the software. So as I get better, I'll offer some more technical things. I like to show more of who's fighting on the screen, just their names, their records, maybe some statistics. Love you too, buddy. And then Chiesa, he's from the Ultimate Fighter. I don't know if I mentioned Kevin Holland was from the Contender Series as well. He's making his way in here. I think he's a New York guy, Chiesa. I'm going to look that up. No, Colorado is way off. Yeah, he's out in Washington now. Oh, what made me think of New York for him. And then Kevin Holland, he's a California guy. And he fights out of Texas now. Say his style is BJJ, but he's just not known for a lot of submissions. Kung Fu as well. And then Chiesa kind of got his start with Team Alpha Male. Now he's with Syndicate MMA. I'm not really familiar with them. He's a brown belt in Jiu-Jitsu. Nickname is Maverick. I've never heard that. I knew that Kevin Holland's nickname was Trailblazer. I didn't know it was Big Mouth, but that fits, and I think he would agree with that. He's fighting with Travis Lutter, BJJ since 2010. He's a second-degree black belt in Kung Fu. Interesting, black belt in BJJ under Travis Lutter, who's really known for his BJJ. So it's always weird to me, the color of the belts for these guys, because they get into the UFC and it just doesn't even seem like it matters anymore. I mean, you got, brown belts tapping out black belts, and Kessa's running around. He looks like he's in great shape as usual. Again, he's got that big frame. Kevin Holland's got that big frame. I'm guessing, here's the tail of the tape. So Kevin Holland's about a couple inches taller. He's got a heck of a reach advantage. He's got 5.5 inches And Kies is 35. Okay, I didn't realize he was that much older than Kevin Holland. So that reach is going to play into it all over, because as we saw, Kevin Holland's got a knockout from the bottom. So even if you take this guy down, it's not guaranteed that he's not gonna knock you out, because he's got those long arms and he can definitely reach your face. Bruce Buffer's announcing everybody. Kevin Holland looks super relaxed as usual. He's smiling, dancing around. Man, both these guys look ready to go. Should be an interesting fight. I'm guessing that Kies is going to come out and try to take him down right away and just try to survive the stand-up. Kies is not known, to try to knock guys out. But, I guess you never know. I mean, when Hamzat fought Kevin Holland, if I remember correctly, he just bulldozed him, took him down, ragdolled him, and submitted him. I don't think Kiesa can do that. I don't think he has the strength, the grappling strength that Hamzat does. But that would be my strategy if I was him. He is the underdog in this fight. I think Holland's going to want to use the unorthodox strikes, try to get to his chin, and either win a decision or, stop him. Kies is up in Buffer's face now. He's getting hyped. He's getting excited. Kies can be emotional. I don't know if you guys remember back to the Kevin Lee fight, but Kies was real emotional before in the press conference and in the fight, and he ended up losing that one. So I think it would be to his advantage to stay calm, but I guess we'll find out. And he is 35, so he should have experience. They touch glove. Kies is on the outside, definitely taking his time. Holland is in the middle of the cage. He's looking to strike. He's got a wide stance, and Holland's actually looking shorter just because he's very low in his stance. But he is just a bit taller, I think, than Kiesa. Kiesa's looking big, looking heavier. Just feeling each other out. Now Holland gets in close, and Kiesa kind of covers up. Big right from Holland. Kiesa just covering up, scrambling, trying to get out of there. He's up against the cage, trying to survive. Doesn't look like he's hurt. Touching gloves. Holland again throws down Kiesa. Kiesa's on his back. Holland's on top now. He doesn't seem interested in Kiesa's neck. Kiesa looks like he wants to pull guard, but hasn't yet. He's posturing up into Holland's chest. Now he's covering up. They're scrambling. Back up to their feet. Some dirty boxing from Kiesa, which was nice on the way up. Some uppercuts. And now both fighters trading a little bit. Holland looks much more fresh. Kiesa looks like that took some energy out of him. He was trying to survive. He's kind of got that weird, tight stance. Reminds me of Chael Sonnen a little bit, where, he's got that real kind of classic, old-style boxer, tight guard, but he doesn't seem like he reacts very well. Now he's got the leg. He's got a single. Okay, now he's got a body lock on Holland up against the cage. And Holland reverses. Kiesa's back is up against the cage. A couple of shots, and big surprise, Holland is talking the entire time. Now Kiesa's trying to get him down. Holland defending well. Kiesa lifts him, not able to get him down. Some body work there. Holland breaks free. Now Kiesa's in a bad spot. Holland looked like he landed the knee, but maybe not, because Kiesa really didn't react to it. Some nice shots. Oh, that knee definitely looked like it landed. Kiesa buckles. He's down to the ground. Holland's on top, putting pressure on his head. Now he spins him over. Looks like he's got him in a submission. And Kiesa taps. Wow. Kevin Holland submits Michael Kiesa. Well, he has the credentials to do it. Black belt from Travis Lutter. Kiesa never really got going in that fight. He landed a couple of uppercuts, but Holland was just seemed like he was better everywhere. His striking overwhelmed Chiesa. Chiesa really didn't have a um, answer for it. He looked uncomfortable. He looked awkward, and it seemed like an early tap, to be honest with you. But I don't know how. Um, I don't know how tight it was or anything like that. Chiesa was the underdog, so the rankings were right in this one, or at least the bookmakers were right in this one. Now those guys are talking, and they seem like they're good sports about it, and you can definitely see Holland is taller as they're face to face. Here's the replay. Uh, Chiesa came in. Yeah, he got clipped with that knee. Then Holland sprawled, and that was kind of the beginning of the end. He did block that knee a little bit with his arm, but I just either it landed or now they're showing the closer replay. Yeah, clipped him a little bit, but he didn't like it because he shot straight for the knees, and Holland had him in some type of choke. It's a weird angle where it was almost like a north south choke, and just clamped down on him, and that was all she wrote in the first round. Big win for Holland, I think. I think if he's gonna make a run, he's gonna have to string some uh, wins together, go on a 4, 5, 6 fight win streak, try to stay at a Hamzat's way, and then have some type of answer for Hamzat when he gets closer. And Holland historically seems, and he's dancing, he's happy, waiting for the official decision. But historically, he seems like the type of fighter that, he's not. He wants to be active, and if you call him, he's going to pick up the phone and he's gonna fight, and he wants to fight. Whether it's Hamzat or whoever, he just doesn't care. He believes in himself. He's talking to Joe Rogan now. He's definitely hyped up. So I like that type of fighter, but if he wants a title shot, he's got to. Well, he doesn't have to, but he's always in danger of losing a fight. You think about like Donald Cerrone, Nate Diaz, those guys that always answer the phone, that always get in there. Now he might get a title shot just from answering the phone, because other guys won't do that. But a lot of times they'll put him in bad matchups. They'll put him against up and coming, just future champion type guys, and they won't end up getting a title shot. So I like Kevin Holland. He's definitely a fan favorite. That's how guys stay in the UFC so long, even with losses, because the fans love him, the brass loves him, and it's not that he can't get a title shot, but he's probably just not going to have the cleanest record of all time. But this is his second in a row. He had a nice win against Santiago Ponzinibbio, and if he keeps it up, he could definitely go on a run for the title. I don't know if he would be successful, but he could go on a run. The next fight is Tony Ferguson versus Bobby Green. Again, Bobby Green is the favorite in that fight. I did put $10 on it. I put it on the underdog, Tony Ferguson, just because I can't believe how far Tony Ferguson has fallen in the eyes of the bookies, the odds makers. This was a guy who was thought to be unbeatable at one time, and everyone wanted to see him fight Khabib, and everyone thought that he had a legit shot against Khabib. And now, no disrespect to Bobby Green, I actually like Bobby Green a lot, but the guy's 29-14. He's got some weaknesses. He's not a spring chicken himself, and he's a huge favorite against Tony Ferguson. Tony Ferguson. Showing the crowd now. Macy Barber's out there. Missed the first guy, Bilal Muhammad. He's a fun fighter. Uh, Rashad, former champ, a light heavyweight champ. He's out there looking good. Tony, now they're showing Tony. He's definitely showing his age. He comes in thin, but he looks good. He's got 8 losses, but all his most recent losses are against just absolute killers, just the best in the division. And I don't know. If Bobby Green beats him, good on Bobby Green. I like Bobby Green, but I don't know. I gotta put $10 on Tony Ferguson, just because Tony is a weird guy, but he's a guy that grows on you over time, and you just hope that he's okay and he's gonna have a good life after fighting. His press conferences are legendary. He says the craziest, weirdest, funniest stuff, but he doesn't admit that it's funny. You don't know if he's trolling or if he's being serious, and that just makes it even better. Bobby Green hasn't won a fight this year. This is his first fight, but beginning of last year, he lost 2 fights at the end. He fought 3 times in 2022, and he lost 2 of those fights. One to Drew Dober, which was a knockout, and one to Islam Makhachev, which was also a knockout. So it's not like Bobby Green is on a tear here. He's got some wins in, the first part of 22 against a guy I never heard of, and Ally Quinta in 2021. Another loss in 2021, a loss in 2020. And yeah, sure, I'll share my winnings with you. My one loyal live viewer can definitely get $5 of my winnings if he tells me who won the fight when I see him next. So Tony, he hasn't been super active, but let's take a look at his record over the last few years, which is probably good for a fighter his age. Last time he fought was 2022. He fought twice that year. He lost both of those fights. One was to Nate Diaz and one was to Michael Chandler. Again, 2 killers. 2021 he lost. 2020 he lost twice. And his last win was against Donald Cerrone in 2019. And I'm sure that's why he's an underdog. But it's Tony Ferguson. So hopefully he showed up. Most pro fights against amongst active UFC lightweights, Bobby Green is 3rd. So he's fought a lot. And you got 2 vets here. Neither one of them are spring chickens. I'm hoping that, and I don't know if this is Tony's last fight or not. I'm guessing it's not Bobby Green's last fight, but hopefully he can get a win if this is his last fight. I want him to win anyway, but especially if it's his last fight. They're showing some highlights here. Both of these guys are just fun, creative strikers. Obviously, Tony with the Wing Chun, showing him against Pettis. Showing him against Gaethje. He gave Gaethje a hell of a fight. That was the 5th round they fought too. All of his fights have gone past the first round. All of his last 5 fights, rather. The last time his fight didn't go past the first round, he won, but it was 2015, so it was 8 years ago. Tony is a guy that has pretty much seen it all, and he's got this weird training style and this weird lifestyle. But for the longest time, it was working. It was confusing everybody, and he had just a run from 2013 all the way to 2019, a 6-year run where he just looked unbelievable, and he was beating pretty much the best of the best, everybody in the division, and he didn't take a lot of damage, if I remember correctly. Maybe in the Anthony Pettis fight, but all the other fights, he really didn't take a lot of damage. He almost seemed unhittable. And then, obviously, in his last 5 fights, he very hittable. He got busted up numerous times. But it's not like he didn't have success against these top tier guys. Um, Bobby Green, I don't remember if I saw the Drew Dober fight. I'm guessing he had some success against Drew Dober, but I know he didn't have much success against Islam Makhachev because he got knocked out in the first round. And that was a catch weight, but Bobby Green's another type of guy. He's not going to say no to a fight. He's making his way in. He's interacting with the crowd. He's throwing all his stuff into the crowd as he's making his way in. Everyone's hyped up. This is the guy that, he does have some cool tattoos as well. This is the type of guy that, fans love because he's going to be himself. He's going to show up. He's not scared of anybody. Tony's kind of the same way, but he'll say some cringy stuff that makes, can kind of turn people off, but he's got his kind of cult of fans. Where Bobby Green, he doesn't talk that much. When he does talk, he's very direct. Doesn't pull any punches, but he's just not as outspoken as Tony. Tony just out of the blue will start talking about Ninja Turtles or crazy stuff that, people aren't expecting. And he has this kind of, serious, like deathly serious attitude that can be kind of scary. So you don't know if he's serious or not. Bobby Green is getting addressed by the cut man. He's getting checked, putting the Vaseline on, nose and everything, and now he's gonna make his way into the cage. And we'll see how Tony comes out. Bobby Green's in the red trunks. Tony, I believe he's gonna have his traditional black faux hawk, because they did show him earlier in the backstage. I think that was live footage. Bobby Green takes a huge dive into the cage and rolls out. He's more hyped than I remember him being recently. He looks healthy. He's moving well. He wants to throw. He's definitely going to look to stand and throw with Tony. And I don't think Tony's going to shy away from that. The one thing about Tony is his chin might be suspect these days, but Tony's going to be the last one to admit it. So I don't think, he has this incredible self-belief. I don't think he's going to be worried about, risking an opening by attacking. He still believes that his reflexes are second to none. He still believes he can get out of the way of everything. Here he comes. I'm guessing the crowd is, hyped up, going crazy. He's got a hat on. He's got a hoodie on. Born in California. He's taking everything off, getting ready. Yeah, he's got the black faux hawk style, black trunks. Hard to believe that he's an underdog against Bobby Green. Tony's got a few tats, but not much, just mostly on his right arm. He is showing his age. He's looking old. He's definitely not as young as he once was. He's got some back tats too. Bobby Green's 36. Tony is 39. El Kukui. He's been trained by famous Eddie Bravo. He's a black belt and 10th planet jiu-jitsu under Bravo. He's a collegiate wrestler. He's looking serious. Bobby Green's a purple belt. He's from California as well. So 2 California guys. Bobby Green's 5'10". Tony's 6'0". Tony's walking around, drinking water. He's in his own world, man. Tony's got a 5.5-inch reach advantage on Bobby Green. So just like we saw in the last fight, 5.5-inch. And these guys are lightweight, so that's even more surprising. They're both 155. Bruce Buffer's coming in, calling the fight. The shock of gray hair now. Bobby's energy is definitely more intense, more higher level. Again, in the red trunks. Tony more relaxed, more calm, more of an undercurrent there. Now he's getting hyped up. He's doing his slides, doing his footwork. Yeah, he's warming up. He's getting there. Takes another sip, sprays it out. He's got his routines. He looks healthier than he has in the past. Sometimes that weight cut really makes him look gaunt and thin and scary. And he's looking a little healthier, even though, you know, his musculature is, I don't want to say loose. It's not the right word, but, you know, some of these guys just look like, you know, they're so ripped. He's a little looser. Here we go. Dan Murgliata is the ref. Meat, no touch of gloves. Ferguson switching stance. He's ducking in, ducking out. Feinting with the knee. Looks like he wants to attack. Bobby Green's got his hands down. He's wide open stance, waiting to counter punch. There he goes to attack, and Tony reacts off of it and really backs off. Tony's got his hands low too. This guy, he is not scared of being wide open. Switching stance, being off balance, deflects a kick. He's moving well, but I don't think he's going to take these punches well. Bobby Green lands a couple on Tony. Tony, he's just standing straight up and he keeps turning on these punches. Yeah, he has lost his last 5 fights, but he's fought killers. Oh, Tony going for the takedown. He's got Bobby Green's back. He's got him up against the cage, and we know Tony's comfortable here. He's attacking that left leg. He's putting pressure on the back of his head. I think he's going to take advantage of this position, but as I say that, he backs off, and they're in the middle again. Bobby Green looking to strike. I think that was a good strategy by Tony. I would really like to see him grapple more, but he's not scared of the stand-up. He landed a sneaky left to Bobby Green's body there, and Bobby Green's been really close to landing. He did land one right on Tony's side of his head. Tony's punches seem off. They're pairing now. Circling, Bobby Green circling. Tony's in the middle of the cage. He's not scared to engage, but he is. Oh, nice counter left from Tony there. Leg kick from Bobby. Feint from Bobby. Tony's punches are starting to get dialed in a little bit more. This just has the feeling of a fight where Bobby Green can do a lot of damage with one punch. And Tony's going to have to put together, I think, a string of punches. And he's trying to do that. A couple of punches from Bobby Green land. Tony was, something hurt Bobby Green's leg and he went down and got back up for a second. I don't know if it was off balance, but we'll have to look at the replay and see what happened there. They're both up now. Tony keeps switching stances, trying to keep him off guard. eye poke, and Dan Miragliotta comes in. Tony got poked in the eye. He seems very upset by it. I can't see. Looks like there's some damage on his face, but it doesn't look like it's from the eye poke. Not they're gonna. Oh yeah, yep. Bobby Green's right hand had his fingers extended, and it looked like a couple of the fingers went into Tony's eye socket. They're gonna bring in the doctor to take a look at him. I think Tony's not happy. Doesn't look comfortable. Doctor's taking a look. He's shaking it off. We know that Tony is not afraid to fight. We know that if they call this fight, it's not going to be because of cowardice on Tony's part. But he does look very bothered. He's talking to the ref. He's saying he wants to go. He's yelling at the ref, but he's also trying to clear his eye. It didn't look intentional, but it did look sloppy. It looked like it was just a reaction from Bobby Green. I don't know if he could have, prevented it by not having his fingers that way. Again, didn't look intentional, but it's obviously against the rules. You're not supposed to extend your hand with your fingers out, but almost every fighter does it. It's kind of impossible not to do it. Now the doctor's back in there wiping his eye. Looks like he gives the go-ahead to Dan Miragliotta, and it looks like we're going to go here. Used about 1.5 minutes of his time. I believe they get 5 minutes. So Tony's ready. He's hyped. He's pumped. Looks like he's got a good sweat going, and they're going to meet back up. Bobby Green, good show of sportsmanship, apologizes. They touch gloves, and now they're trying to punch each other in the face. Tony covering up a little bit as he ducks in. Oh, man, Bobby Green almost caught him with a leg kick there as he was bent over, ducked to his side. Tony's doing this weird thing where he turns his head almost like an amateur and turns away, and Bobby Green almost kicked him in the face, and he keeps doing it. He's got such an awkward style. Oh, nice right by Bobby Green. He kind of hits Tony and dashes away. Tony tries to counter. He's still attacking. It's got such a weird, awkward style, but he's not really landing anything. He's throwing a lot of feints at Bobby Green, and Bobby is just kind of being patient and just kind of waiting. The 5.5-inch reach that Tony has, the advantage, hasn't really shown itself because Bobby doesn't seem like he's having any trouble. Oh, got him again with the leg kick as Tony bends over, but Tony doesn't seem affected by it. Nice 1-2 from Bobby Green lands on Tony's face. And it almost seems like Bobby Green, I don't know if it's the timing or just the angles, but it almost seems like his reach is being more effective than Tony's. And it might just be because he's staying inside those longer legs, but Tony's attacks just don't seem to be as effective right now as they were earlier in the round. We got about 30 seconds to go. Tony's still going from side to side, and he's going to have to watch for that Bobby Green leg kick. Bobby Green nice 1-2 from Bobby. He's landing now. He's not following it up, though. He's just kind of waiting for Tony to come in. And nice left from Bobby. Tony dodges the rest. Another nice straight left. Now Bobby's taunting him, and round's over, but Tony definitely, now he's rubbing his eye. Tony definitely was slowing down there at the end. I think Bobby's punches were catching up with him. He's on his stool. They're going to wipe down the eye. I don't know. Not a great round for Tony. I don't know who won that round, but Bobby definitely seemed more crisp there at the end. He had a better timing, and who knows? We'll see what Tony does to switch it up in the second round. Don't know how much the eye poke has affected them. They're both getting coaching. Bobby seems like a really coachable type of guy. I don't know how coachable Tony is. There's a knee in the replay Nice punch. Yeah, it was like a timing thing where Bobby Green went down. Nice kick to Tony's body. Now they're showing some of the strikes that Bobby landed. That knockdown of Bobby Green, it was a legit knockdown, but I don't think it hurt him. Just caught him with a punch at the right time. He was kicking his leg out from under him. Tony's pressing the action again. Bobby Green switching stances a little bit. Now he throws kind of I can't remember what that kick is called, but it's kind of like a chopping kick. Tony went for the takedown. Now Tony's doing a good job getting out of the way of some of these punches. X kick, that's what I was trying to think of. Bobby seems like he wants to land that. Tony with a nice shot of his own, nice left. Tony's slowing down though. He's always been known for his cardio, but he is getting older. Bobby with his own attack. Bobby just some type of attack from Tony there. Now he's on the ground, trying to posture up, trying to get into guard. Bobby's trying to swim through it. This is where that reach might come into play. He's really going for Tony's head, but he can't seem to fight through the legs and reach him. He did land one hammer fist. Now he's trying to go around the legs, going back through them. Tony's defending pretty well. Probably trying to look for a triangle or some type of submission. Tony's been known to pull off some of this stuff. He's also got kind of lethal elbows from the bottom, so we'll see if he can. There he lands one. Now he's in full guard. Bobby's just trying to posture up, trying to land ground and pound. Tony's not really defending the hands. He's in this side control. He's really just looking for submissions. Now Bobby Green's back to his feet, and he's trying to dive in and attack, trying to push the feet out of the way. Now he's got him kind of pressed up against the cage. Tony looks pretty comfortable here. I can't tell if Bobby's landing too much or really landing anything. He's got to watch the up kicks from Tony. Tony doesn't really seem like he's trying to up kick him, but those those feet are flying everywhere. Searching for a submission, kind of just pedaling in Bobby's face. As Bobby seems content to be on his knees. Now he's hitting him to the body. His short arms are really not doing Bobby a big service here because he's having a hard time reaching the longer fighter. But he did drop an elbow on his abs. Now he's trying with the elbows. Did seem like he landed a couple to Tony's mouth and might have done some damage. Oh, nice hammer fist. Now he's landing. Now he seems like he's got his range. Another nice hammer fist. Tony's trying to attack from the bottom as well, trying to push him off. Another nice forearm from Bobby. Seems like either Tony's getting tired or Bobby's figuring out how to land. Elbow from El Kukui, pulling his head down, trying to go for the triangle. Bobby stands up, calls him back up. Tony looks tired. He's not discouraged though. He's still coming forward. Nice left from Bobby. Nice punch from El Kukui. One thing about Tony too, and I don't know if he's still that way at this point in his career, but he's been known to kind of get cut and kind of get beat up, and now he's really taking some punches off the top of his forehead. He's showing damage on his face. Yeah, another nice left from Bobby. Not looking good for Tony. Oh, nice right from Tony. Eats a couple of more jabs. Eats a right. Kick from Tony. Tony's got to land something here. It's got 30 seconds to go in the second round. Maybe Bobby's tired now because he's disengaging. He's kind of running a little bit. He does that push kick to the front knee of Tony, which is a dangerous, dangerous kick. Can injure a fighter, tear those ligaments up. He's landing a couple of more. Nice punch from Tony. 10 seconds to go. Couple more shots land for Bobby. Oh, nice right from Tony. Nice left from Tony. He's got him pressed up against the cage now. Bobby hit him a couple of more times. Hard to call that one. Definitely more damage on Tony's face. Had him on the ground, had control. Cleaning up Tony now. Definitely going to benefit from this rest between rounds, and the fact that it's a 3-round fight is going to benefit Tony, I think, because he seems like the more gassed. Although Bobby, at the end of the round, he seemed like he was running a bit, so I don't know. He's breathing kind of heavy in his corner, so maybe he's gassed as well. Tony's known for his cardio. Tony's known to take punishment and keep coming. Now they're showing a little bit of that ground and pound. There's the one right on the bridge of his nose. He took an elbow, another hammer fist, glancing left to his cheek. He really didn't show any highlights for Tony, but he did land some decent punches in there. This third and final round, it's going to be very interesting. As we said earlier, Tony's typically, his fights do go into the second and third round, so it's not out of the realm of possibility that Tony could get a finish here, but he's going to have to do something quite different. Okay, Bobby Green catches the leg, knocks Tony to the ground, lets him get back up. Striking from Bobby looks much better so far in the beginning of this first round. Chopping leg kick from Tony, that might have paid more dividends in the earlier rounds. I don't know what it's going to do right now. Tony using his length to land a right, another right. Switching stances again. I don't know that Tony has really used his reach advantage in this fight. Oh, okay, yeah, Bobby's playing with him a little bit. Overhand right on Tony's head. Tony shakes it off. Counter left, snaps Tony's head. Tony's a little gun shy now. He's not coming in as close, and that's probably a good thing. I mean, why not use your range and just attack from the outside? I think his attacks were getting him into trouble, and there he goes again. He gets in Bobby's range. Nice body shot from Bobby. Fighters have definitely slowed down. Bobby's kind of standing flat on his lead foot and just waiting for Tony to come in. He's throwing a couple of kicks, another kick. Yeah, Bobby's just waiting. He's got the timing, he's got the reach down. He just wants Tony to get within range so he can throw out those strikes. Tony in pursuit. Oh, nice 1-2 from Bobby. Tony does a little bit of a shuffle, as like a I don't care shuffle. Still bending over to his side. Earlier in the fight, Bobby Green was kind of starting to time that with leg kicks, and we've seen so many knockouts from that type of thing where a guy will bend to one side. Remember the DC fight? It was classic. Was expecting a body kick and just got knocked out right to the head. Oh, nice 1-2. Another one from, nice. Bobby Green's starting to light him up, but doesn't seem like it's enough to, I mean, it just looks like it hurts, but it doesn't look like it's enough to really dissuade Tony. He's just getting pieced up on his way in, and he just kind of gathers himself and comes back in, but Bobby's just hitting him at will on the way in and just causing Tony to retreat, come back in, get hit, retreat, come back in, get hit, retreat. Tony has a little bit of success with some leg kicks. Tony tries an attack of his own, misses. Leg kick from Tony. Tony tries a big leg kick and ends up getting knocked down, gets back up. Not knocked down from a punch or anything, just was off balance. Another 1-2 from Bobby. kind of slipped on that kick. Bobby has no interest. Nice right from Tony, finally. Bobby has no interest in going to the ground. Body shot, overhand right from Tony. El Kukui has got about a minute to do something here. A minute, 15 seconds. Oh, spinning back fist misses. Tony takes a little bit more damage to the face. A couple more kicks from Bobby. He's really done a great job of timing, reacting. Oh, nice straight right from Tony. I don't know if it hurt him or not. Now Tony rolls. I don't know what he's doing. Looks like he's trying for some type of submission. He's on his back. Bobby's hitting with the hammer fist. This is very similar to round 2. A couple more hammer fists. Now he's in side control. Tony's trying the rubber guard here, it looks like. Now Bobby's got him in a choke. He's got that right arm of Tony trapped, and Tony looks like he's either being patient or he's getting ready to tap. Like, oh, he's kicking his leg. He's showing that he's still there. Wow, this could be a submission. He's got 10 seconds. He's fighting it. He's kicking his legs. He's out. That's it. Submission. Tony went to sleep. Bobby Green gets the win. Unbelievable. Nice performance. Again, the odds makers are right. This is, I guess, why they're professionals. Tony loses with less than 10 seconds to go. In the 3rd round, Bobby Green gets the win. Very good fight for Bobby Green. I don't know what's left for Tony here. I mean, yeah, I don't know if there's anybody left for him to fight. Anything left for him to prove. I mean, he's lost 6 in a row. He's not that active. Just shy of 40 years old. I'm showing the final sequence here. I don't remember what that choke is called, but it's the choke that Brock Lesnar got back in the day against Shane Carwin. It's that choke where you tuck the head, and you get the arm tucked in there. You get all that pressure against the head, and you basically choke someone out with their own arm, with their own shoulder and their own bicep. Yeah. Tony did not bring home the bacon on this one. But hey, he was valiant. He never gave up. He gave it a good fight. He did not have the strategy that he needed to beat Bobby Green, and his mind was willing, but his body was just not able. The physical gifts that he's had in the past did not come into play in this fight, and I honestly don't know if he has them anymore. He just consistently walked into range and got peppered, and he took some chances there at the end, and Bobby Green just submitted him. So, hell of a career for Tony Ferguson. He's got nothing to hang his head about. I really hope the guy transitions into normal life successfully. He's had some mental health issues in the past. I hope he hasn't, taken too much damage. He did take some damage in this fight, but I don't know if he was concussed or anything. Bobby Green taking a well-deserved interview with Joe Rogan. I'm guessing he's going to call somebody out here. Who knows who. The next fight coming up, obviously this card is stacked, so all these fights are going to be good. I don't think the first 2 disappointed at all, but this next one, the heavyweights are always exciting. Heavyweight fights, obviously not known for their finesse. These are the big hitters. There's Joe and Bobby Green are just kind of recapping the fight right now, talking us through the finish. But Derek Lewis and Marcos Rogerio de Lima, both very similar records. Derek Lewis has more fights, more professional fights than de Lima, both heavy hitters, both big guys. A lot of knockouts between the two of them. Derek Lewis, I believe, is tied for the most heavyweight knockouts. I could be wrong. Maybe he's in second. I don't think he's done very well over the last few fights. I'm going to kind of take a look at his record here with you. I'm also going to take a look at De Lima's. Bobby Green is, they're talking about how fast he is at 36 of age. He's celebrating with his team. Now they're showing Trey the Truth, Darren Williams in the crowd, Kelvin Gastelum, Uriah Faber. A lot of people in the crowd tonight. Bobby Green taking a celebratory walk outside of the octagon. Yeah, Derek Lewis has dropped his last 3. Now they're showing O'Malley prepping for the O'Malley title shot. So he's lost his last 3. Sergey Spivak submitted him. Sergey Pavlovich knocked him out. Tai Tuivasa knocked him out. And Chris Daukaus was his last win in 2021. So it's been a couple of years since he's got a win. But of course it was by KO. Cyril Gane knocked him out in 2021. Yeah. He had a run there where he had 4 in a row. He did fight for the title a couple of times. He fought against Cyril Gane. He fought against Cormier. Obviously lost both of those. Had a lot of fight of the nights early in his UFC run. Man, he's been in the UFC since 2014. It does not seem that long. So in 21, he broke the record for the most knockout wins in the UFC. So I guess it's not just a heavyweight record, 13. I don't know what the record is now. Tied with... Okay, so he does have the most knockouts in UFC division history at 13. And then he's tied with Matt Brown for the most knockouts in UFC history. He's also tied for the most finishes with Frank Mir. So he's been around a long time. He's obviously done a lot of damage. And then De Lima, let's take a look at his record. He's 38. So he is actually the same age as Derek Lewis, but he just hasn't been in the UFC as long. He's been in the UFC a long time. He started out the Brazilian Ultimate Fighter, and then his first fight in the UFC was 2014. When did I say? Wow, so they've both been in the UFC this long. I just, maybe I've been sleeping on De Lima. He hasn't had a run like Derek Lewis. He used to fight at middleweight before he got into the UFC, which is crazy because when you see him, I mean, he's a big guy. He's won his last 2. He beat Arlovsky and he beat Cortez Acosta. He's got a win against Ben Rothwell, which is a knockout, which is pretty impressive. He hasn't really been that active since he's had 4 fights in the last 2 years. 5 fights. So he was very active in 21 and 22, and then I guess he's gonna have 2 fights again in 2023. So he's about 2 fights a year. He's got losses to Blagoy Ivanov and Alexander Romanov, and Stefan Struve, which is nothing to hang your head on. But he's also lost to OSP, who's a much smaller fighter in my opinion. They fought a catch weight at 210, and then he's lost to Antigulov and Krylov as well. So I'm guessing that Derek Lewis is gonna be favored in this. I guess we'll see. Derek Lewis is the bigger fighter. He's got about a 4-inch reach. About 7 pounds heavier. About an inch taller. Again, they're both 38. They've both been in a lot of fights. I don't know if De Lima can string together enough fights to get a run at the title, especially with so many guys at the top of the UFC heavyweight picture right now. But if he can beat Derek Lewis, that's a start. It's definitely a good start. Derek Lewis has a lot of name recognition. He did beat Arlovsky, who also has a lot of name recognition. But again, Arlovsky and Lewis, they're fighters that have been beaten. They're fighters that are getting older. Heavyweight doesn't matter as much, obviously, the age, but, it's a factor, of course. Lewis has had 2 shots at the title. Neither one were very good performances, if I remember correctly. Daniel Cormier, if I remember that fight correctly, Cormier just took his time, ended up taking Lewis down and submitting him, and he wasn't much of a threat there. Some of Lewis's knockouts, man, he's got vicious knockouts. He really has power. De Lima has power, but he's fighting Roy Nelson, which he's got known for his chin. So yeah, he's got power too. Should be fun. De Lima to me just seems like a smaller guy who has grown over the years and put in a lot of, he was a big guy, but he's put on a lot of weight through the midsection, and we've seen guys in the heavyweight division get away with that. Now you can probably get away with that against Derek Lewis, but when you fight some of these other guys that don't have that and have grappling and have gas tanks, it can really affect you, unless you're Daniel Cormier, because Daniel, I don't know how the hell Daniel Cormier got down to 205 like that, but he did, and he looked good, and he managed his weight really well, and that was a sacrifice for that guy, but he's such a professional. Lima was getting down to 210 5-6 years ago, and just looking ripped, and then his frame just isn't as big. He's 6'1", and he doesn't have that Daniel Cormier frame. He's got a big upper body, he's got big arms, big shoulders, but his neck and he's got decent sized traps, I guess. Just his chest doesn't look as broad, and doesn't look like he carries that weight. He probably looks like, a light heavyweight, it would be more efficient or more effective for him, but he's got the power, and he's had success at heavyweight. He's had success at middleweight. This guy's been all over. Derek Lewis is just natural heavyweight. I could be wrong. I just couldn't ever see him getting down, and the power that he has is crazy. Derek Lewis doesn't ever seem like the guy that could, strikes me as a guy that can ever make 205. He just doesn't have the discipline At least that's the image that he portrays. Probably smack me for saying that, but he, you know, he just consistently counts on the knockout, and I don't know how hard he works on the other parts of his game. That's his bread and butter, and he, to the point where you watch his fights, and you'll just see him sitting there waiting for a guy to get close enough, and he'll even play possum, seem like he's hurt, and then try to knock the guy's head off. Um, should be a good fight. There have been some Derek Lewis duds. The Ngannou fight famously was probably one of the worst fights I've ever seen. They just failed to engage the whole time, and somehow he won that decision. I guess they had to give it to somebody. I would have made it a draw, but that was that run that he had that got him the first heavyweight championship fight with Cormier. Lewis is not looking particularly fit as he makes his way into the cage, and he also looks very dry. I wouldn't say that, I don't think it has any bearing on whether he's going to win or not, because he just doesn't seem like that type of fighter. But again, he's not coming in looking impressive compared to his previous physique. He actually looks like, he's a little bit less impressive physique-wise than he has in the past. De Lima looks about the same as I remember him. Lewis seems very calm. Seems like he's just already thinking about that knockout, just already gearing up. Lewis has a 4-inch reach advantage. Weighed in at a pound and a half heavier. He's got about a 2-inch height advantage. De Lima is from Brazil. Lewis is from the U.S. Lewis is still ranked 10th in the UFC heavyweight rankings. Buffer is introducing him now. De Lima's in the black trunks. I'd be surprised if we see any grappling here. I'm guessing that the Brazilian would be more inclined to grapple, especially knowing Lewis's knockout prowess. Lewis is in the blue long trunks. Knockout King tattoo on his chest. I'm guessing he has more than a few knockouts outside the cage. I remember reading some stories about that. I mean, when you look at Derek Lewis's record, he's got some impressive wins. He KO'd Oleinik, KO'd Blades, beat Blagoy Ivanov in the decision, KO'd Volkov, beat Ngannou in the decision, knocked out Tibura, knocked out Travis Brown, beat Roy Nelson in the decision, knocked out Gonzaga, knocked out Abdur Akimov. Oh my gosh, Lewis comes out firing. He's already got De Lima down and throwing big punches. De Lima's trying to get a leg. Now he's just covering up. Lewis just hammering away. I don't know if De Lima is going to survive this. Wow. Lewis started so fast. Now he's putting all his weight. De Lima is just turtled up. I'm surprised that the ref is letting it go. He's getting in and he's looking at, just because he's not defending himself, and there's the finish. Another KO. Takes the KO record back. Does his signature belly splash. I don't even know what you would call it. Takes his trunks off. He's in his underwear now. That's Derek Lewis for you. Wow. Daniel Cormier is going crazy. I can't recall a fighter going down to his underwear like that. I don't know how Dana's gonna feel about that, but knowing Derek Lewis, if anyone could get away with it, it's probably him. He's dancing. He's so happy. Hard not to like the guy. Is he gonna put his trunks back on? Nope. I was thinking, oh, Buffer said something to him. Okay, he probably doesn't want to get in trouble, so he's putting his trunks back on, beating his chest. Yeah, amazing. I don't think DeLima was ready for that. I wasn't ready for that. 14th knockout in the octagon. Replay. Yeah, he came with a flying knee, and DeLima, he just kind of tumbled backwards, and then all of Lewis's weight kind of followed him, and that was the beginning of the end. I can't tell if that knee landed. I think it might have landed. Amazing. And then he just rained down the hammer fist. And the ref let it go a long time. I think it was Murgliata. And he really wasn't defending or trying to counter at all. Yeah, I mean, just pounded away. I don't think he got hit with any super large shots. I'm sure they hurt, but you know, he covered up, he turtled up, and he just wanted nothing to do with it. He just tried to cover up. So yeah, Lewis, brilliant strategy. Just swarmed him. I mean, everyone smiles in there. Everyone loves the guy. He's so much fun. He definitely showed up tonight. And that was a quick one. So our heavyweights are out of the way. And the next two fights should also be bangers. This card hasn't disappointed. I mean, we didn't see highlight finishes in the first two fights, but that Derek Lewis, I'm sure that flying knee is going to be a highlight. And DeLima looks apoplectic. I mean, he looks like I did all this training, I did all this work to get in here and have that happen. And he seems bummed, and I don't blame him. But Derek Lewis, on the other hand, I mean, you got the highs and the lows. He's definitely on a high. Who knows what he's saying to Joe Rogan? I'm sure it's comedy gold. Joe Rogan loves him, as he should. I'm excited for these next two fights. I guess, Derek Lewis could sneak in there for another run at the title. He could get a third crack at it, because you just never know with heavyweights. Guys pull out, guys retire. It's happened, and guys sneak in there for the title, and it looks stacked right now with John Jones and Stipe and Gane and Romanov and Pavlovich, and a lot of these other guys. But, like I said, if the timing is right, you can sneak in there for the title. Yes, that knee did land. Wow. I mean, a big guy like Derek Lewis just did a flying knee on another very large gentleman and landed it a la Gamebred Masvidal. It wasn't quite the finish that Masvidal had against Askren, but if DeLima wouldn't have at least backed up, I mean, if he would have been coming forward and ducked his head, that would have been Askren all over again. He would have been still waking up. So good for Derek Lewis. He wants to stay in the UFC. I'm sure he wants to make some more money. He's a talented guy, so, I think he can make money no matter where he goes. But, his bread and butter is probably in the UFC. probably his best bet, and he's good at it. So maybe he can get another crack at the title. And with him, he hasn't shown up for his first two title shots, but hey, one punch. I mean, if he comes out like that and catches them the right way, who knows? So we got Blachowicz against Pereira. Pereira, if you don't know Pereira, if you only know Pereira from the Stylebender fights, there's a lot more to his career, and he's got a lot of experience and a lot of fights, just not in the UFC. So he kind of came into the UFC and, got propelled to the, speaking of Game Bread, he's at the fight too. A lot of people in the house, but Pereira, he is, he's a decorated guy. He's fought in kickboxing for a long time, fought really a lot of guys, and then in MMA, he just, started out in the UFC. Well, I mean, he fought a little bit, but then he jumped into the UFC, and in his third fight, he's fighting Sean Strickland. His fourth fight, he's fighting for the title. So, he belonged there. I mean, he won the title in his fourth fight in the UFC, which is kind of crazy. And he's got history with Adesanya outside the cage, and then of course he got knocked out in his last fight to Adesanya, and he lost the middleweight title. Now he's back up into light heavyweight, which I think is probably a more natural division for him. And Blachowicz, I don't know how he lost to Glover Teixeira. I don't know if that was just fate and it was just Glover's night or what, but I mean, he had a heck of a run when he beat Rockhold, Souza, Corey Anderson, Dominic Reyes, Adesanya, and then he loses to Glover Teixeira. Not that Glover Teixeira is a bad fighter, it's just, he's old and he's got obvious weaknesses. I mean, he KO'd Dominic Reyes. He KO'd Corey Anderson. He, knocked the taste out of Luke Rockhold's mouth. He easily won a decision against Israel Adesanya. And then, he also beat Alexander Rakic due to an injury, but he had a good fight against Ankalaev. And it was a split. So, now he's going to fight for the light heavyweight championship again. I think probably his worst fight, I mean, he's lost to Thiago Santos, he lost to Patrick Cummins, but I think his worst performance was against Glover Teixeira. He's fought all these other guys and either beat them or gotten very, very close, and then Glover, he just had the performance of a lifetime. So it should be interesting, this fight. I saw some analysis saying that Blachowicz is going to be wide open for Alex Pereira's left. And so now they're ranking the top 5 light heavyweights. They have Yuri Prohaska and Ankalaev at 1 and 2, and then Jan at 3, Rakic at 4, and Krylov at 5. It's funny. I mean, Pereira, you can't really argue with it, but those are all good top 5 guys, and Pereira just jumps in and gets a title shot. I think it's fine. I'm not against it. I just think that, Pereira has such a name, and he's such a good fighter that, he can jump in there and do that. I don't know how the other guys feel about it. I'm sure they're not super excited, but it's hard to argue that he isn't that caliber of a fighter. You can argue that he doesn't deserve it, but, he's an exciting fighter. I'm guessing he sells fights. And would anybody be surprised if he knocks out Blachowicz. I personally wouldn't, and that's not a knock against Blachowicz. But I mean, he knocks out Israel Adesanya. He knocks out Sean Strickland. I mean, you think that power is not going to translate in this division? Of course it is. I mean, it's probably even going to be. He's probably going to have more power because he came in so thin at middleweight that at light heavyweight he should be able to bulk up. I don't know. Obviously you want to bulk up and put on muscle mass. I'm assuming that's what he's going to do. You don't want to just bulk up and put on fat, but, that should translate. He's got the frame to do it. And Blachowicz, obviously he deserves to be there as well. He did beat Rakic. It was an injury, but he's beat the other top guys other than Prohaska, who's been injured. So, he had a draw against Ankalaev, and I know Uncle Dana wasn't too excited about that fight and how it turned out and how the guys performed. And, so what can Ankalaev really say? Pereira is younger, taller. I didn't realize Blachowicz is 40. Wow. He looks good for 40. Pereira is an inch taller, and he's still got an inch reach, even going up in weight and fighting Blachowicz. So I like Blachowicz. I think he's a smart fighter. His body type to me looks a little top heavy. He doesn't look as balanced, but he pulls it off. I mean, you can't argue with his record. You can't argue with his fights. I thought that he was kind of going to get exposed against Adesanya, just because he doesn't look as balanced, and he does look so top heavy. But I mean, he fought really well. Maybe he underestimated Glover, or maybe it was just styles make fights. I don't know. I just know I wasn't super impressed by Glover Teixeira in a lot of his fights. I felt like there were guys that he could and did beat that matched his style, but when you see him fight against Jamal Hill, Yuri Prohaska, Gustafsson, Anthony Johnson, John Jones, those type of guys, Phil Davis, it was like he didn't have anything for them. So yeah, I mean, the Rashad Evans fight was nice. The OSP fight was nice. Misha Serkinov had a split decision against Nikita Krylov, which kind of surprised me. He submitted Thiago Santos on his run. I mean, I give the guy credit, but it just in certain fights, Glover just seems like he has nothing for his opponent other than grit and determination and will, and it's not enough. And I just thought, Blachowicz, you got to know that going into it. You're a smart guy. You always have a good game plan, and you should just be able to pick this guy apart the same way all these other guys did that beat him. Phil Davis, John Jones, Anthony Johnson, Gustafsson, Corey Anderson, Jamal Hill, Yuri Prohaska. I mean, why can't, just blew me away. It just surprised me. So, but, fair play to Glover. Believe he still got the record for the oldest champ and deserves it. Pereira's coming into the cage. Definitely looks bigger. Looks a little bit like his body fat percentage is probably up a little bit, which sounds crazy because the guy's shredded, but he just doesn't look as dehydrated. He looks a little thicker around the waist. Abs aren't as defined as they usually are, but I don't think that's going to affect him or be a negative. We'll see what his cardio is like. I used to think that when guys changed weight classes, oh, this guy's dropping down in weight. He's just gonna be awesome. He was good at this division. He's gonna dominate the next weight division. It doesn't always happen. You got to see how it plays out. You got to see how the guys carry the weight, how they move. Um, this is more seems like a more natural weight class for Blachowicz, so I would assume that he's going to look his normal shredded self. He's coming in red trunks. Not, I don't think he has any tattoos. Now Pereira, he's all tattooed up. He's got some nice ink. Yeah, Blachowicz got his kind of trademark beard. He's got the fourth most significant strikes in UFC light heavyweight history. And that's a stacked division, so that's saying a lot. Fourth highest takedown. Yeah, we'll see. I don't know what Pereira's grappling is like. Obviously, he's a kickboxer, so I'm guessing that he doesn't have as good of grappling as Blachowicz, but we'll see. You never know what guys are doing, even if they haven't shown it. I haven't seen anyone out grapple Pereira. Looks like he's got a brown belt in BJJ. Again, means almost nothing in the actual fights at this level. Blachowicz, he's got a first degree black belt in BJJ. More of a Muay Thai style is what he's known for. He beat Jared Cannonier too. I mean, he's got an impressive resume. And no one really, he's had to fight to get any type of respect, even with his resume, even with what he's done. People still sleep on him and still count him out. And I think that actually sometimes guys, they feed off that and they really benefit from that. They don't like being the favorite. They don't like having all that pressure. Maybe that's what it was when Blachowicz fought Glover as well. Pereira, it seems like he's the opposite. He's the guy that shines when all the pressure is on him. And a lot of those kickboxer guys are like that because kickboxing seems like more of a spectacle. I'm not a huge kickboxing fan or aficionado, but those guys are all beating each other and exposing each other, and it's such a pressure cooker situation, whereas MMA, so many other ways to win. You have to be patient. You don't see as many spectacular back-to-back knockouts. There is grappling, there is submissions. Guys are more defensive. So it doesn't seem as big of a pressure cooker as you're making your way up through the ranks as kickboxing is. Kickboxing more of a tournament, so can't really afford any mistakes. Now they touch gloves. Pereira looking very tall. There's a shoot from Blachowicz. He's got his left leg. He's lifting. Pereira's defending. He's just pressed up against the cage. Blachowicz is trying to drop down. He does have Blachowicz's neck. He's got him in a guillotine. And Blachowicz is still up under Pereira's backside. Now Blachowicz kind of like motions to the ref, hey, what's he doing? Still attempting the takedown. I'm thinking that this is going to wear on Pereira's arm. I don't know how tight he's attempting the guillotine. Blachowicz doesn't seem too concerned about it. He's still pressing up against him. He's throwing some knees now. Okay, now he spins around Pereira. He's got him up on one leg, but Pereira defends really well. He's up against the cage again. This strategy seems planned by Blachowicz. He seems very calm. Not much going on here. He's still got him in the guillotine. Now he lets it go, and now he's got him down to the ground. Blachowicz fell somewhat awkwardly, and now he's recovered, and he's got the back of Pereira. Pereira's on all fours. He's trying to posture up and get up, and Blachowicz is holding onto the back, trying to not slide off. Now he's got him in a rear naked. He's squeezing. Pereira is not... He's fighting the hands a little bit. He's on one knee. Okay, he's out. Blachowicz trying to soften him up. He's still got his back. Pereira's still carrying all of Blachowicz's weight. Can't tell if Blachowicz has his right leg down or if he's got all his weight on Pereira. Pereira seems to look at the ref. He's fighting Blachowicz's hands much better now. Blachowicz is content to just ride him. He's not really trying to... Okay, now I see his other leg. He's got him in a body triangle, but he's sliding off to Pereira's right. He seems like he's trying to brace himself. Okay, now he's posturing up. He's got to be careful that he doesn't shake him off the front. And now Pereira's down to one knee again. Blachowicz trying to drop some hammer fist, trying not to slide off to the right, but the cage is helping with that. And it looks like he's looking for an opportunity to take the neck again. Pereira's doing a good job tucking his neck and protecting his face. That body triangle is a real problem for Blachowicz. Or Pereira, rather. It's a real advantage for Blachowicz. Now they both go to the ground. Blachowicz is sliding off a little bit to the right. He's got his neck. I can't tell if he's under the chin or not. He's trying to smother him and push his face into the ground, but he's got to be careful. Now he's out again. Blachowicz has got to be careful not to slide off over the top. There's only about 30 seconds left in the round. Pereira's trying to survive. Blachowicz is again trying to go under the neck, but he doesn't seem to be able to get, under the chin. Doesn't seem to be able to get it. He lets it go again. Blachowicz still hanging on, sliding off a bit. About 10 seconds to go. Now Blachowicz is most of the way off. He's just still got him in the body triangle. And there's the end of the round. Pereira's got a little bit of damage from the body triangle maybe. He's breathing heavy. He's going to take a seat, get some ice, get wiped off. He's extending his right leg a bit, seeming to want to stretch it. Getting some coaching. Telling him to breathe. Taking some deep breaths. It didn't look like much in that first round, but I'm sure it was a workout for Alex Pereira. Coaches do not want a repeat of that. And we're almost ready for the second round. I think that was actually not damage on his right side, but a colored tattoo. Now they're meeting in the middle of the cage again. Both men, Pereira has some bounce in his step, but both men seem a little bit tired. Pereira attacking now. Really feeling each other out. He's trying to land that left, but he missed. He wants to land that lead left and really turn over that hook. Blachowicz being patient. Not much striking going on. Just a few shots here and there, a lot of feints. Pereira is circling into the power hand of Blachowicz. Now Blachowicz is landing some leg kicks. Blachowicz has like a chopping jab. Leg kick from Pereira. Pereira backs off, then re-engages, resets. Couple of leg kicks. He's kicking to the ankle. Oh, nice left from Blachowicz. Gets his attention. Another nice left. They're trading. Or they did trade. Now they're resetting. Takedown attempt. Nice timing by Blachowicz. And he's down and in Alex's guard. He got his attention with those strikes. And then waited for the opportunity and landed a perfectly timed takedown. And he's in the guard. And now he's methodically trying to pass here and maybe rain down some. Okay, he's trying to posture up. Alex is up against the cage now. I think he's going to want to posture up and like trap his head against the cage. He's actually holding the back of Alex's head with one hand and trying to land a few punches with the other. We're about halfway through the round. Alex is trying to get up. He's leaning to his right side. Blachowicz has one leg isolated. He's trying to hold him down. Okay, here's Alex is attempting to get up. He gets up to one knee, and Blachowicz is just leaning with everything, and now he's up. Blachowicz is trying to put all his weight on him. I think it was a really good job by Pereira. But I also think that Blachowicz wasn't going to. I don't think he wanted to expend a ton of energy holding him down. He was content to let him use all of his energy to get up. Not all of his energy, but a good amount of energy. And Blachowicz is leaning on him now, not letting him rest. It's about a minute left. Pereira is free. He's got, looks like his wind behind him. Misses a kick. Pereira wants to engage now. He's coming forward. He's got his hands out front. Nice left hook by Blachowicz. Really gets his attention. Pereira wants to land his left. He might have had a glancing left there. Oh, Blachowicz, not so good takedown attempt. Pereira just shakes him off. Blachowicz looking tired all of a sudden. Pereira's got him pressed up against the cage. Blachowicz coming off the cage, hanging on, hands up high but not moving. Oh, body shot to Blachowicz. Now Pereira is just picking his shots. Blachowicz is covering up, pressed against or backed up against the cage. He's in a bad spot. Oh, nice left by Blachowicz. Now he gets some space. Pereira really had him. Both fighters are tired. Only about 2 seconds left in the round. That was strange. Blachowicz got some damage to his face. He must have really been tired. It felt like Pereira could end it. It felt like he could have poured it on and just teed off on Blachowicz because he was standing straight up, leaning against the cage, or leaning back against the cage, just covering up. And a guy like Pereira should just be able to pick him apart with either body shots, head kick, whatever. And it didn't look like Blachowicz was in any position to shoot or counter, and Pereira just couldn't pull the trigger. So this should be interesting in round 3. I don't know what the scorecards look like, but that was a very even round. And going into it, it looks like Pereira has more wind. It looks like the momentum is swinging towards Pereira. I shouldn't say it looks like it. It feels like it. They trade a couple leg kicks in the middle. Nice hard kick to the midsection that's blocked by Blachowicz, but I can't imagine that feels good even to block that. Blachowicz's left is finding a home, and it looks like a very good weapon, and he lands it again there a little bit. Missed leg kick by Pereira gets Blachowicz's attention. Now they're just trying to find each other's range. Couple of leg kicks. Blachowicz throws a body. Trying to gear up for their next attack. Another nice left hook that misses from Blachowicz. Follows it up with a right and then a kick. Doesn't do much damage. Blachowicz is sweating heavily now. Pereira is sweating heavily. I feel like Blachowicz is going to get a second wind here if Pereira lets him. And that's no guarantee. Pereira charging a little bit. He's being careful. He's chopping down Blachowicz's leg. Now here comes Blachowicz. I think he landed a couple there, but it wasn't a sustained attack. He kind of blitzed, landed a few, and then backed off. And now Pereira's got him closer to the cage. Blachowicz lands a kick. Both fighters taking their time in this round. Blachowicz with the left again and then a right to follow it up. It seems like Blachowicz has success with that left, but then Pereira is ready for the right. Attack kind of stifled from Blachowicz. Left lands again. That left just seems open. Hard right from Pereira, misses. Left to the body. Blachowicz backing up now. Blachowicz trying to time him with that left. Blachowicz dives in for a very poor takedown attempt. It seemed like he used a lot of energy and momentum for that. It's so interesting that when these guys have these really crappy takedowns, nice left by Blachowicz, it kind of swings the momentum towards their opponent. Blachowicz is going to have to do something to set that up. You can't just telegraph it and not commit to it. But it also uses energy. That left lands again from Blachowicz. There was some talk about the left from Pereira being a blind spot for Blachowicz, but so far it's been the other way around. I'll be curious to see if that left from Pereira finds a home by the end of the night. Now he's snapping Blachowicz's left or his head back with a straight left jab. Blachowicz seems to recognize it. Now he lands a left of his own. Alex still bouncing. Okay, there was a good left hook to the head and to the body from Pereira. Now he seems like he's getting some momentum, starting to gear up, and another terrible takedown attempt from Blachowicz. Left finally blocked by Pereira. That's been his best weapon, so if Blachowicz loses that, he's really going to have to figure something else out. Okay, he's going after a leg now. He commits to it, and Pereira just lazily falls down. These guys are tired. Not much time left. 30 seconds left. Blachowicz on top, Pereira on the bottom. Weak attacks from both of them. Pereira trying to posture up with his hips, and Blachowicz trying to posture up not very well to land blows. 5 seconds left. I don't think we're going to see much in these last few seconds, and then there it goes. Well, maybe they got some energy back. Blachowicz still in the center of the cage. He got up very slow. I have no idea why this is a 3-round fight. It's the co-main, but such a close fight. It wasn't the fireworks that we hoped for, I guess. Really, neither guy landed anything too punishing, anything too devastating. I have no idea how the judges are going to score this. Blachowicz is just sitting down. So significant strikes definitely went towards Pereira, 60-39, and then Blachowicz had the 3 takedowns, especially the takedown at the last one, or the last round, the last takedown. It just didn't seem like there was much there, but I have to think that interesting that was that Glover? Was that Glover in Blachowicz's corner? That's interesting. Looks like we're getting ready for the decision here. But that last takedown, it would be a shame if that decided the fight when it was just such a, both guys just being exhausted and falling down type of thing. There was really no danger for Pereira, and Blachowicz didn't look like he was even going to go for much. So we have a split decision, and Pereira gets it. Wow. Yeah, that is Glover. Amazing. I don't know whose corner he was in, but that was definitely Glover. Maybe he's in Pereira's corner. He's got a translator. He's talking to Joe Rogan. That definitely does a lot for Pereira's stock on paper, but anybody who watched this fight, I don't think... I mean, it tells you a couple of things, since Pereira is new to this division and so new to the UFC. It tells you a couple of things. He belongs there. He can win against a guy like Blachowicz, but he didn't do it in a dominating style. I mean, to get a split decision like that and really not to land anything definitive, yeah, he landed 60 significant strikes, but a lot of those I think were leg kicks and none of them seemed definitive or that they were going to end the fight or be even close to be ending the fight. Hopefully, and I have a feeling that our main event, our other co-main, is going to have a lot more fireworks. I thought that the Blachowicz Pereira fight was going to be for the title, but I guess not. So I guess it's just the BMF title. Interesting. So maybe this is okay, so Makhachev and Oliveira are going to fight for the lightweight title. Was this an eliminator for the light heavyweight title? Because I know Jamal Hill just got injured, and I thought he relinquished it, but maybe it wasn't. I don't know. It's strange. Not sure what's going on. I guess I'm kind of glad that this wasn't for the title because it was a little bit lackluster, and I don't think it was the effort of these guys. I just think their styles were like that, and they really put a lot of energy and effort into that first round, and it really killed the energy. I mean, if this was there was a fourth and a fifth round. Oh, Carl Malone's in the crowd. There was a fourth and a fifth round. They may have paced themselves differently, but they definitely, if it had gone the same way, they definitely wouldn't have had much energy for the fourth and the fifth round. And I don't know. I mean, who knows what would happen, right? Getting ready for the other co-main event, Poirier and Gaethje. I have a feeling that they're both going to push the issue. We've seen them fight once, and it was awesome, to say the least. Overall, I think the card has been a good card. I think it, you can't compete with a card that has 6 or 7 highlight reel finishes, but the Kiesa Holland fight was interesting. I mean, that was a first round finish, but it was a kind of an unexpected submission, and then Bobby Green really neutralized Tony Ferguson, beat him up, kind of put the final stamp on his career, is my guess. And then Derek Lewis, I don't know if there was a prop bet for landing a flying knee kick to the face of De Lima, but if there was, somebody hopefully cashed on that, because That was unbelievable. And then he swarmed him and just finished it. Not a highlight reel knockout necessarily. And then the Blachowicz Pereira fight, I don't know. I mean, it was exciting in a sense, but it wasn't something that I think I would be very excited to see again anytime soon, which is kind of strange. I think the strategy from Blachowicz to take down Pereira was a good one, but I just didn't think it was going to tire out Blachowicz as much as it did. And it kind of took the gas out of both of the fighters. Pereira, I don't think he had any desire to take it to the ground, but he really didn't have much choice with Blachowicz doing what he did. Blachowicz did have some success landing that left hook, but that was pretty much it. I mean, other than a few leg kicks here and there, he really didn't have much else. And he had a one other kind of successful, nice takedown, and then one just kind of sloppy, like lackadaisical takedown. But other than that, he really didn't have much offense that was going to cause problems or put Pereira into danger. Like there was no path to victory that I saw for Blachowicz other than landing that left hook or getting a takedown and ground and pound. But even that, I thought he was on his way to gassing out Pereira, but he gassed himself out in the meantime. And obviously that's not what you want to do. If that's your strategy, that's the exact opposite. You want to stay fresh. You want to gas the other guy out and then punish him. Pereira, could he have defended the takedowns better? I guess. He got himself up, which was impressive. He got the win. He landed the more significant strikes. His leg kicks were good. But he didn't look like he overmatched Blachowicz. I feel like the feeling going into the fight was that Pereira could land some spectacular knockout with his sneaky lead left, but whether it was Blachowicz being ready for that or he just, couldn't execute it or, the style just wasn't conducive for it. It never looked like Pereira had him lined up for it. It never looked like it was there ready for him. So I don't know. I guess it says a lot about Blachowicz too. A guy that doesn't get a lot of respect, and for him to come in and have a good showing against Pereira and drop a split decision, but not get embarrassed, not get knocked out. The guys are close. They're really close. They're close physically. And Blachowicz is a little bit older. Neither one of them are spring chickens, which is surprising because I thought Blachowicz was younger. He looks a little bit younger to me, but he's gonna have to regroup and figure out a way to get back to the title, because if Prochaska's back, and then now we have Pereira in the mix, and then we're going to have who's the other guy? Jamal Hill eventually coming back. It's a stacked division, and how I don't think we're going to have Pereira versus Blachowicz anytime soon. So Prochaska is probably going to get the first shot, and then we'll see how long it takes Jamil Hill to get back. So who Jan Blachowicz is going to fight in the meantime, I have no idea, but it should be interesting. Getting ready for the co-main event, Justin Gaethje versus Poirier and crowd is getting hyped. They're doing a light show rematch between these guys. Here comes Justin. He's got his ski cap on, his UFC ski cap. He's got his hoodie on. Looks like he's ready for winter. Justin always comes to fight. Everyone knows that. Justin was born in Arizona. I believe Poirier is the favorite in this fight. Obviously, since he won the last one, he's had some impressive fights recently. Gaethje, with his wrestling background, we haven't seen much of the wrestling from him. He's come up short in some of his last performances. So it'll be interesting to see. He's got the back tattoo with his name. Looks like he's in white trunks. Got a decorative cross on his right arm. He's got black and white trunks. Typical red beard. He's finished 20 of 24 wins. He's got 19 knockouts. Guy loves to bang. He's got a lot of artwork on his right ab too. Right side of his abs. He's making his way into the cage, and we'll see Dustin come in here shortly. Gaethje really seems like he loves this. He's built for this. Seems like he loves the contact. It's a nice cartwheel, another one. Just getting ready. He's looking very, very strong. Be interesting to see what he's going to change up for this fight. Here's Dustin. Making his walk to the ring. What a career he's built. He's had some bumps along the way, but this guy has never given up. He's gotten better and better and better. I seem to recall him saying he really doesn't even like fighting that much. It's something that he does because he's good at and to feed his family. But if I remember correctly, he basically said he'd rather, be good at something else or do something else. He doesn't even like it that much. He's got the UFC ball cap on. Short sleeve shirt. Shaking out his fists. It's for the BMF belt. One of these guys is going to try to become the second BMF holder. Of course, Dustin's from Louisiana. It'll be interesting to see what the rest of his career is like. And, who else he fights, how long he fights. Seems pretty excited. For a guy that doesn't like fighting, he seems pretty excited. Taking his shoes off. Seems like he's really in his element. Gaethje was more solemn, more serious. Poirier's high-fiving, hugging. Of course, he's got the full sleeves on both arms. Back is pretty much empty. He's got a little bit on his chest. He's in full black trunks with white trim. He's tied for the most knockouts in lightweight history. These guys are both interim champions. He's tied for the 5th most finishes in UFC history. I wonder, after winning the first fight and being so successful in his most recent fights, what, if anything, is Poirier going to change? What new wrinkles is he going to bring? Because you don't want to stay the exact same and let Gaethje make the adjustments. But if things worked in the first fight, why not keep doing them? And Poirier won convincingly in the first fight, but I think we all are happy to see this again. Poirier's got about a 2-inch reach advantage, even though he's 2 inches smaller. And I think that is even better. I mean, if you're shorter and you have a longer reach, you can kind of duck, get underneath, and still land when you attack. So that should serve him really well, especially with his style. Both about the same age. Gaethje looks very calm, very reserved. And Gaethje has had some performances where, he didn't seem like he was peaking when he needed to. Poirier looks tan. He looks ready to go. He looks locked in. Gaethje, for what it's worth, he's not really bouncing around too much. He's not, he's staying pretty calm. He doesn't look like he's it doesn't look like his heart rate is that high at this stage. But it's hard to tell. I mean, he might just be saving it. He might be on the inside, he might be ready. Bruce Buffer putting his heart and soul into the announcements for the Salt Lake crowd. And it is packed. I don't think there's an empty seat. They're dropping the lights down. What it must be like standing in the cage. These guys have done it so many times. 24-4, Justin Gaethje, fighting out of Denver. And he is the underdog. 156 pounds. So it looks like he just can't wait to get it started. He almost looks bored. He's pacing from corner to corner, tapping himself on the head a little bit. Poirier bouncing. He looks ready. He looks energized. He's fighting out of Coconut Creek. He is the favorite. He's 29-7. While also weighing in at 155. Both these guys were interim champions. I mean, they're in a stacked division. Their division is always tough. There's times where other divisions you can kind of sneak in there if you're one of the top pound for pound guys and snag a title. This division, this lightweight division is always stacked. Masvidal in the crowd again. You can see the 2-inch height differential. Herb Dean is the ref. And we're getting ready to go. Gaethje crosses himself. Poirier's gearing up. He's shaking out his arms. He's getting ready. Now we see Gaethje bouncing up and down, and here we go. They tap gloves. Meet in the middle, feeling each other out. Feints. Poirier's pawing at him. Leg kick Gaethje. Leg kick Poirier. Kick to the body from Poirier. Gaethje, nice leg kick to the left lead leg of Poirier. Poirier coming forward now. Leg kick again, Gaethje. Leg kick to the midsection of Gaethje, but he bent over at the same time. If that had been a head kick, he would have been in trouble. Gaethje blitzes forward a little bit, nothing lands. Gaethje coming forward again, looked like he landed the right hand. Left hand from Poirier. Poirier coming forward. Gaethje doing enough just to keep him off, and they keep resetting. Left kick again, and Gaethje ducks down again. Right from Poirier. Gaethje backing up closer towards the cage. Gaethje really staying on the outside, and Poirier is kind of controlling the center. Left from Poirier. Poirier's got his elbows ready. He's got his defense tucked. Kick from Gaethje again to that right lead leg of Poirier. Poirier's a southpaw. Gaethje is the conventional stance. The orthodox. Left kick to the body from Gaethje, and Gaethje bends over at his side again. Right and the left from Gaethje seem to land. Poirier taking his time. High kick to the head of Poirier is blocked. Poirier trying to attack. He's backing Gaethje up. Gaethje almost to the cage now. A nice right from Gaethje backs up Poirier. Poirier coming in again. Gaethje tries for an uppercut, misses. Couple of misses from Poirier. Poirier shaking his head. It's just not landing. Left leg kick from Gaethje. Poirier misses a couple again, lands a right. Left from Gaethje seems to land. Poirier might have some damage to the right side of his face. Stumble by Gaethje. Nice left from Poirier, I think, lands. They're both rolling pretty well with the strikes. Left seems to catch Gaethje off balance. I don't know if that hurt him. He's firing back now. Seemed like he clipped Poirier with a left. Lunging jab lands from Gaethje. Yeah, he bends over again for that leg kick and it misses, but it's coming up higher now. Poirier's throwing it up higher. Gaethje seems a little off, like a little bothered. Nice right on the chin of Gaethje, but he eats it. Poirier still coming forward. Both men looking a little uncomfortable. Exchange, hard to tell what happened there. Left, right from Gaethje lands. Poirier has a weird way, nice left from Gaethje, of having his head kick and Gaethje ducks under it. Poirier has this way of like threatening with his elbows. Gaethje lands to that right lead leg again. Poirier switching stances briefly, but keeps switching back right away. Leg kick from Gaethje blocked by Poirier. I should say head kick blocked. Nice right from Gaethje. Double right. Poirier lands one of his own. Snaps the head of Poirier and the round's over. So nice shots there at the end from both men, but I think Gaethje got the better of it. Gaethje looks a little concerned. He doesn't look super confident or super comfortable, but he's doing well. He's got a little bit of damage to the bridge of his nose. I don't think Poirier is comfortable either or confident either. I'll take that back. He does seem confident, even though he seems a little off. He doesn't look happy with his performance, but he's both men obviously believe in themselves. But Poirier just has an air about him where he's pushing the issue and he doesn't seem afraid at all. He's talking to his coaches. He's engaged in everything around him. Gaethje just seems like he's looking straight forward. He's in his own head. Now here's the replay showing some missed shots and a winging left that lands for Gaethje. A straight left. Yeah, that did hurt Gaethje. Poirier landed a nice straight left. Some more glancing blows. A nice right from Gaethje. They're back in the center of the cage. Good first round by both men. Gaethje misses a leg kick. Not much happening. Both men feint. Gaethje seems anxious. He's really buying into Poirier's feints. Leg kick from Gaethje to the lead right leg. Gaethje attacks forward again, landing but partially blocked. They're in the middle now. Gaethje looking more comfortable to do more than just counter. Now he's ducking and he's really reacting to those feints. Right high leg kick knocks out Dustin Poirier. Unbelievable. Gaethje just jumped up on the cage and did a backflip off of it. It looked partially blocked, but that high head kick from Justin Gaethje lands on Dustin Poirier and knocks him out cold. I shouldn't say knocks him out cold. He looked like he was still with it, but his body was shut down, and the ref jumped in there and protected him. I'm waiting for the replay. The crowd is seeing it, and everyone is just dumbfounded. Gaethje, wow, amazing. Poirier just lay down on his back, just trying to understand it, trying to take it all in. Justin Gaethje is the BMF. Fighters embrace. Dustin Poirier is back up. It landed just enough to short circuit Dustin and drop him. Here's the replay. Yeah, right on the neck. And he landed one blow before Herb Dean slid in there. Great stoppage by Herb Dean. Yeah, so he didn't get the hand all the way up to block it. It just slowed it down just a little bit, but yeah, it landed almost full force. The side of his head and his neck. And Poirier was out. Gaethje finishes with one hammer fist, and Dean is there to stop it. In the beginning rounds, it looked like the leg kick was going to be there for Poirier, and then it turns out that Gaethje lands the leg kick. Amazing, amazing fight. Lived up to the hype. There was more emotion and more energy after the fight than leading up to the fight from Gaethje. He was so locked in and so calm, but then he was reacting, and you could tell, he was. Now they're comparing it to the leg kick from Leon Edwards, which, to be honest, it was quite a bit different. Kamaru leaned right into it. Leon's was a left leg kick. Justin's was a right leg kick. Leon's hit him right in the face and the forehead. Gaethje's hit him in the back and the side of the head. Usman was completely out of it for quite a while. He kind of took a nap for quite a while. And then here comes Jorge Masvidal to present the BMF belt. And Joe Rogan's going to do the interview. He's handing off the BMF belt, wants to give Dustin a hug, congratulating each other. Both good guys, good competitors. Now he's got the belt back. He's going to hold it up. It's a pretty sweet looking belt. Second round KO, 1 minute left. Justin Gaethje KOs Dustin Poirier with a head kick. Amazing. Well, that kind of makes up for the Pereira Blachowicz fight that wasn't that exciting. Not that the guys didn't try, but nothing like that landed, obviously. I'm sure Poirier will be back. Seems like he's in good spirits. What a night. Great card, great fight.